Hey everyone, so you had one day to take a look at the 20-minute ab, 20-minute bum and thigh or leg, and 20-minute arms. But today we're just going to do 10 minutes and focus a lot on these low abs right here, which is, I joked earlier, the area that all these women go like, oh, look at this. So I want you to think first of a triangle with your thumb on your belly button and your pointer fingers end up on your pubic bone. In between here is just a little triangle. So button number one is where your pointer finger is. In between the triangles, number 2, and your thumbs are number 3. And when I say Pilates scoop, I want you to think of pulling those 3 buttons in, like they're going back to your spine, and then pulling them up under your rib cage. So it's the Pilates scoop. So when I refer to that, that's what I'm talking about. The only prop today I ask you to have is a little towel. If you have a small ball at home or a tennis ball, maybe something a little bigger than that, that would be helpful. But we're going to be using this for between our legs to kind of activate those muscles. So let's begin. I'm going to put the timer on 10 minutes only, I promise. And I think today, rather than doing just numbers, we're going to do it for 30 seconds. So we're going to start by just warming up, putting the towel between our inner thighs. And I want you just to do a few pelvic tilt rocks. So just kind of rolling down a little bit and stacking up. And feel as you stack up that need to kind of pull in those 3 buttons and get them in and up. Just kind of stretching the back longer, pulling it up stronger. Eyes to the belly as you go down. Just do 5 more seconds of this. Then we're going to start the roll down all the way. Now roll all the way down. Arms come up. I'm going to have to situate myself here. Flatten the back between your back and the mat, and then find neutral back again. So we don't want to always call it neutral back, but we do want to know what our own natural curve is. So flatten it and come back. As you flatten it, now start to squeeze the towel. And notice how squeezing the towel helps to activate those low abs. You should feel automatically kind of everything pulling into this central area of power. So they call it the powerhouse. Now let's add a little something. We're just going to pelvic tilt, squeeze the towel, reach up and come down. You're only reaching to the point where your shoulder tips are about off. If you squeeze the towel or the ball on the way up, it makes it a little bit deeper. I have a neck issue, so I'm now going to just take one hand behind, keeping the elbow wide so I know I'm not pulling on my neck, and support my head. So it's crunching up and down, up, down. Now one more, up. This time I want you to take both hands behind your head, crunch up to about your shoulder tips, bring the legs up, and just crunch up from there. Think of watching that area pull down and up, down and up. Right now your legs are in a 90-degree bend. We're going to keep going for this for 5 more seconds. I'm going to change it up just a wee bit. Good. Now I want you to drop your heels towards your bum. You can take your head down now or support your bum a little bit here. And I want you just to dip your toes into a little imaginary pool of water and pick them up. When the heels are closer to your bum, it's a little bit easier to do. So we're going to add on to that. We're going to keep this going for another 5 seconds or so. Then we're going to take the heels a little farther apart. I'm just going to be looking up because I'm talking to you guys. You can keep your head down. Now take your heels a little farther apart, not quite 90 degrees. Tap the toes, pull them up. Now in your mind's eye, start paying attention to what those, what I'll call triangle muscles are doing. They're pulling up. So tap, pull it up with control. You're keeping neutral back. Ribs are not popping up, so we're keeping all the integrity of the spine that we practiced at the beginning. And putting your hands under your bum just assists that little boost. Good. Now take your legs to 90. You might not go all the way down. You might just kind of pretend that you're tapping your toe into a bucket of water rather than the same lake that we just had at the tip of our toes before. If you're able to get the toes all the way down to the floor and come back up, while again, keeping the rib cage heavy, you're going to feel all these muscles working to keep you grounded, keep you stable. If you're able to do that, go ahead, but you're going to find your own range of motion. If you feel this in your back at all, that means that you're going down too low. So please adjust your range of motion accordingly. Good. Now let's add a little something. As we go down, I want you to squeeze the heck out of the towel. So I'm squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. I'm not going to let the towel go, but just release the squeeze as I come back up. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze a whole bunch. If you have a ball, the ball should feel like it's going into an oval shape, and kind of release the squeeze and come up. As you squeeze, put your mind's eye again into the low abs. Good. So now we have another probably 10 seconds here. Squeeze on the way down. Pick it on up. Squeeze. Pick up. Now opposite. So we're going to not squeeze on the way down. Once you tip your toes, squeeze the heck out of it. Pull it up strongly. I want you to feel as if your toes kind of caught hold of something and they have to pull it up. The whole purpose of this one little 10-minute segment is to get those low abs. So again, your mind's eye is right there. It doesn't mean that your whole rectus muscle isn't also working, but the focus would be below the belly button here. Good. 10 more seconds here. Squeeze it on the way up. Tap, squeeze, pull it up. Tap, squeeze, pull it up. One more. Tap, squeeze, pull it up. Good. Draw your knees in. Give yourself a little break. Let's put the towel aside. Feet are flat on the floor. Both knees are going to sway over to the right. The legs are not stacked here. They're kind of staggered. You should still feel a linear line of your torso, though. So we're not going to roll with the legs. So while we crunch up, my knees are going to the right. I'm looking at my left hip. So I'm not going to be crunching up towards the right. I'm still coming up center. And now we're still focusing on the low abs, but we're wrapping it a little bit into the waist area here, the obliques. So my nose is coming straight up to the left thigh here. Keep the heels tucked in, because that's going to come into play a little bit later. 10 more seconds here. Both shoulder blades are down. Good. Next 30 seconds, left hand is down. My right shoulder blade tries to get a little bit of air time as now I'm trying to cross over towards my left. To shiver the shoulder blade down. It's a small motion. You'll feel kind of what I always call a shark bite. So we're looking for the shark bite on this one. 15 more seconds. Just a little less than that, about 10 more seconds. Crossing over and up and over. Both, not either. Good. Draw your knees in just for a little break. We're going to stick with that position but change up the exercise. So this time I want your heels to remain close to the bum. Tap your toes down and let your legs go over again. So you're really crunched up here. Again, we're looking for that linear line of the torso. From here, do a pelvic tilt. So if you have a string on your pubic bone, it's going to come a little bit towards your right. From there, both arms down to the side. Wider would be more modified. Close to the body is less modified. Just pick both legs up. And now I'm just tapping down my pinky toe of my right foot. My legs are swayed to the right. Just the side of the foot is coming in. Just doing a little crunch into here. Thinking of all the springing in the knees in towards me as both legs lift up. Keep both shoulder blades connected. So you shouldn't be rolling or having anything really funky happening with the upper body. So tuck it in. Tuck it in. 30 more seconds with that. We're pulling up with our abs, controlling the return. Think about it. Can you believe it? I sweat on these things. I didn't have the air conditioning up. That's pathetic. I'm only, 7 minutes into it? And I'm sweating with you guys, I hope. Good. 15 more seconds. Pull it in. When you come in, just have that moment of kind of like crunch. Right. I almost said Captain Crunch, but that's not a good example. Good. Roll onto your back. Hug both knees in. Give yourself a little knee stir to release. A little break with a breath. Good. Now both feet come down. Sway both legs to the left. We're looking to set up that long spine. Now my nose is going to come up to the right hip. Hands behind the head. I'm just going to crunch up. And I'm going to crunch up for about the next 30 seconds. Might be a little bit less than that. A couple seconds shy of 30, but that's okay. I'm trying to look at the timer so I keep you guys on track with your 10-minute commitment, no more than that. You can certainly get it done. As you can see, work up a sweat in 10 minutes. Maybe that's just me. I'm glowing already. Good. 2 more. Last one. Now, left hand stays behind the head. Right hand comes down. Sugar the shoulder blade in. I'm going to cross up and over towards my right now. I'm trying really hard to get a little air time on my left shoulder blade. As I mentioned yesterday, I do have mild scoliosis, so this is my more challenging side. Kind of means I get less range of motion, but believe it or not, it also means I'm working a lot harder. This is a really difficult side for me to do what I love to do, but it's okay. We all have our challenges, right? 10 more seconds, or actually more like 7. Let's do 2 more here. Crunch, crunch. Last one. Good. Both knees come in. Give yourself a little hug. Now, see how the heels are close to the bum. Let the toes tap right down there. Knees go to the same direction, left. Arms are down by the side. Do a little pelvic tilt with this so we get those abs into their core of power. Pick up the legs. Put them down. Both legs are swayed to the left. And it's my left pinky toe of my foot that's kind of tapping, making that little ripple into the pool of water that's imaginarily at the end of my feet. Although now with all my sweat, it might actually be there. Hoping not, that would be pretty gross. So lifting up, and there we go, 10 minutes. All right, a little over 10 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Hope that gets you where you want to go today.